So anyway, listen, thank you all very much for being here and for supporting this and the independent assemblies, great work of God. Thank you for your pastor, if you're from the church, your leader of the independent assemblies. He's blessed our socks off for so many years. We've known Mickey probably going on 25 years, and met him, and he was interviewing us on Trinity Broadcasting one time. That's where we met, and so he's been a good friend and a big encouragement over the years. And so we want to encourage you to bless them back. It's not an easy thing to be the leader of an organization. We have a lot of people working in different places around the world, in different countries. In our office, we feed 40 people every day at lunch in our office down in Chiapas, Mexico, with the School of Frontline Missions students there as well. And things can be complicated. Drama comes, drama goes. But in the end of the day, there's always a few people, a few believers, a few men and women that we meet in our lifetime. And you as pastors and leaders are going to meet in your lifetime that you're going to be thanking God every day that they're the ones who drove a stake in the ground years ago and said, it doesn't matter what everybody else does, I'm going to walk with my God. And those are the ones that you can draw your strength from, your confidence from. They're the ones that are there for you all the time. But I'll tell you how fast the same ones that say, I love you, Pastor, I'll never leave. And then a week later you change a light bulb that burned out 10 years ago, and somebody comes up, walking up, and the pastor, Mickey's on the ladder changing that light bulb's been burned out for 10 years, and they always said, don't touch that one, don't touch that one. And this person walks up and takes a cane and starts beating on the ladder and says, what are you doing? He said, I'm changing the light bulb, been burned out for 10 years. And they say, my mama bought that light bulb for this church and you're not touching it. You know what I mean. You know how it is. Stand with your leaders that have stood by their call from God. Over the years, the call of God, we tell our students all the time, almost every day. The call of God is a guide of your life, not how you feel, not your emotions, not that bubbly feeling you get in your stomach when you meet that girl and Satan's been dabbling in her mind and she can look like the most godly person on earth. And unless God told you to be with her, run like a rabbit, because that bubbly feeling you got in your stomach's them bad tacos you ate last night. Oh, the devil knows exactly. He's had generations to perfect his attacks against us as believers. And yet our churches, I'm talking to you guys because I know how you feel. So many people. And they just allow the devil to dabble in their thoughts and twist them and turn them. And before you know it, the same ones who said they loved you last week are the ones who are attacking you this week and walking out the door and taking half of your church. And what do? What's left and who's left? Those other pastors, those other leaders who have drove that stake in the ground years and years ago and said, I'm going to be here for you no matter what. Always take care of them. Listen, I want to share with you all, if I could real quick, when you came in, I think that they gave you this newsletter from the Backpack Outreach this year. You all have heard of it over the years, and I just want to tell you real quick that the end of the project this last December, we had an attendance of 57,953 people. The numbers on the front of that newsletter were from the year before, from 2017. 2018, December, 57,953 people, 17,515 kids attended that. 2,360 adults were saved in those meetings in that church planning outreach. And you say, that's a lot of people, 2,360. That divides out to be 5.5 people per location. The adults, the moms and dads, the churches were planted. 44 new churches were planted, praise God, this year through this one single outreach. And we want to thank you, Pastor Mickey, for the people who were there, for you all that came and helped us put all that together. It was a wonderful time. But we've been with y'all numerous times, and I want to show you just a little bit of what God's done, because when you hear our story, then you're going to go, wow. So supposedly, somehow or another, there's going to be some pictures on the screen, and I just chose to use these to go through this because it's easier to show you what the Lord's done, because we have so many different projects and ministries going on. This is our staff down in Chiapas, Mexico. The Lord put it on our heart to base everything we do, instead of basing it in, there I was clicking away, so it's working now. Instead of basing it in the United States, to base it down there in the heart of the mountains in Chiapas, Mexico, to do what we do. Instead of tying up a lot of resources, I'm still pushing the button. Let me see if we can make this go. And so the Lord called us to train and raise up native missionary evangelists to preach the gospel to their own people in their own languages, in their own communities. And we do that in different countries around the world. We do 5 different countries. That didn't help any. I'm going to raise my hand up. I don't mean to be distracting. Do you think it'd be better if I just nodded my head? There it went. Okay, maybe it's on a timer accidentally some way. But we set these film evangelism teams up with the equipment to move it on bicycles, carrying on their backs, in taxis and buses, however they have to move and travel to get there. And you can see this is in the Philippines. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you just hit the forward arrow every time I nod my head? Because we're going to be till next week. And I know you guys have better things to do than look at a bunch of pictures. So anyway, carrying the stuff on their backs, just keep rolling every 4 seconds, unless I hold my hand up. We'll do that. This is Rolando, one of our film teams down there in the Philippines, every 4 seconds. There you go. This is crossing the rivers and the wood canoes in Mexico. This is hauling the stuff around the Congo, and on motorcycles, the equipment, and to turn a field into a movie theater in 30 minutes. Keep just rolling it every 4 seconds, unless I'll go like that. That'll work. And then they set the film up in a field or in a dirt road or something right in front of the missions. They begin showing children's cartoons of the Bible and then evangelistic movies, and the crowds come, and the people in the different countries are out in their dirt roads watching the gospel on the screen. And look at that little girl, hold right there. The little girl right there with her hands up. That's Rolando too in the Philippines. Mickey's worked with him, and as a matter of fact, when we trained him, Mickey, you were there, challenging the fire out of these guys. And all these years later, but that little girl is standing on a stool back there. It's like she's behind all the people that responded to be saved, and she's saying, "Me too, me too." So let's roll on. And that just touched my heart. So we're going to keep rolling every 4 seconds. And these are just pictures of the people in the different places. That's Mexico, when they've surrendered their lives to Jesus. The follow-up, the training, all of our teams have to. This is a church we built from nothing in a dirt road, and that's it today. And you saw the films being shown in the dirt road there. And this is now all of the leaders. Hold 1 second. Can you just go backwards? That's our leadership meeting, our annual meeting for all of our leaders, our top leaders, and some of the pastors too, that our guys have planted. I'm not saying we're missionaries and we find some people that are doing church planting and we begin to be a part of their organization. We say, look what we're doing. These are churches that were formed and planted from the organization that we started from the ground up. And so over 500 churches and missions, and these are the leaders, Mickey, in our annual conference for Refugio de Esperanza. You preached in the church there, so go ahead and go. And our School of Frontline Missions, that's our director, and we train and raise up students that come in and don't pay a dime to be in our school. They live there, they eat there, and it costs us $1,000 a month sometimes just to send them out every weekend into the mountains with their field trainers. And then they graduate and they go out to be missionaries working under their own pastors in their own areas of the mountains. And this is the backpack project. People come from all over to fill those backpacks and work with us on that and help us to do this. And in a moment, you're going to see what the mountain of backpacks looks like to the left there when they're all done. That place is our place. That's our auditorium. And that's when it is a factory. And then we train the pastors how to use them to preach the gospel in their own communities. And that's the pastors going through an all-day training. That's the numbers. Stop right here 1 second. That is, I believe, 2007, 16 or 17. I was looking at it, the whole picture a minute ago, but it cut the top off here. That now, the attendance for the last 18 years, not counting last year, I believe. But anyway, the attendance for the project has been nearly 700,000 people. And the salvations, you can't really see it, but it would be near 25,000 plus that have surrendered their lives to Jesus. Now I want to illustrate that to you. The attendance of that backpack project over the years, go to the next picture, would fill that stadium right there. Whatever I said it was a minute ago. What did I say? Go back to the slide before. 600, 700,000. It would fill that stadium, keep going, 7 times. That stadium holds 105,000 people. The number of people that surrendered their lives to Jesus in this project would fill that stadium 1.5 times. Stay right there 1 second. VBS of Lifetime, you're going to see in a minute. We have an attendance this last year of the 5 days of over 200,000. I'm going to say it again. Over 200,000 people that attended the Vacation Bible School of Lifetime that we do every year. And we've been doing it for years and years and years and years. And my own friends say, Greg, that cannot be possible. How do you even manage that? We supply everything. Everything they need, the crafts, everything, the lessons. Rebecca Archer that Mickey knows comes down every year and teaches and trains the pastors with us to do this. If you took that 200,000, whatever the total was, over 200,000, and you divided it up by the 5 days, and then you divided it up by the 400 and something different locations that project was at, it would come out to be about 87 people per location per day. It's easy. We just think big and we try to leave a small footprint. So let's move to the next one. And then the backpacks are counted out to the pastors. They're registered by name. But get this. We have on the list 35,000 kids sometimes, and we only have 20,000 backpacks. Hold right there. 35,000 kids' names, and we only have 20,000 backpacks. So what we've been doing in the last recent years is saying to the pastors, listen, you can take the toys out. There's a girl toy and a boy toy in every backpack. Give that little boy toy to a little boy that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. A little girl, give that girl toy to a little girl that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Give the backpack to a little boy or a little girl that's 9, 10, 11 years old. And they're all going to be happy and thrilled. And you're going to have 3 times what you need. And so we can reach. We just told them, open it up to the whole community. Open it up. So this is our own auditorium. This is our own neighborhood. This is 2,000 children at times that we bring into our own place. That we set it up is a huge outreach to our neighborhood. Our policemen and firemen help us. Those kids are in there. They're sitting in there. They're in lines. Your own people have been there with us. It's a stunning miracle. They go through the line and they get their backpack and Michelle counts to 3 and they open them and then it goes crazy. But oh, you saw them praying. You saw their hearts stirred. God's been so good to us. And this project has opened the doors. Voice of the Martyrs gave us 100,000 of those booklets you just saw to be able to use in our school now, exclusively for the school. So we hope that you get a chance to come. Our policemen and firemen help us every year. So at the end of the day, we get all the kids out, we bring all them in, and we preach the gospel to them. We feed them first, but keep going. And so we give them a backpack to take home for their children. But we decided to do an outreach for them and their wives. We said, bring your wives. So we show fireproof. Look how many of them, the vehicles you saw out there, police and fire. The police chief said, you can go, don't worry about it, even if you're at work. He said that morning of their assembly, he said, every one of you needs to take your wives. And here they are in the invitation, surrendering their lives to Jesus. And we gave all of those guys that came in there and the policemen and firemen the Bibles right there. And God moved. Our attorney said, Greg, what are you doing bringing those policemen in your place? You know the police are corrupt here. I said, they need to be saved, and then they won't be. So anyway, Pastors and Leaders Conference, those are commentary sets that were given out to every pastor that was there. Keep rolling. And we do leadership conferences to just reproduce great leaders. First Women's Conference we did is a full-blown women's conference. We planned to have the round tables and candles and flowers, and we had over 700 women register, and that was it. Vacation Bible School of a Lifetime. This is some of the materials, so we're going to keep on that 4-second roll. And this is the training for that. We don't do anything. Listen, if the pastors are going to get it, they've got to be in our training, the pastor themselves. And this is some of the locations that stuff goes out to, some of the churches that are planted, some of these people. This particular one right here, they were beaten, they were driven out of their communities, and they all wound up being there where our people went in with the VBS the first time, and they ran them out with guns, and then they wound up being born again. Someone gave them land, and that's the church we're building for them. This is the prison ministries. We're there a lot. We've been through 19 different prison directors, and they let us come in with the backpacks and preach the gospel all the time. Taxi drivers, people working in the stores, they'll say, hey, Greg, and I don't even know who they are. They said, don't you remember me? I say, no, I'm sorry. And they say, I was in the prison, and you guys came and you were showing movies, and you invited us to come and pray, and I gave my life to the Lord. Well, how's it going? Oh, me and my wife, it's all great. We're going to church, and nothing's neater than that. Now listen, thank you for all of that. I wanted you to see, before I tell you what I'm getting ready to share with you, what God has done.